y'all doing today? Start coming on in. Come on in. I want to give a big shout out to all the fams out there. All the fams. Notice how I didn't say fans. I said fams. That's my people, you know what I'm saying? The people, the supporters. I appreciate everybody out there who taps in and listens and contributes to the conversation. And, just willing to engage in dialogue and communication, man. That's what it's about, right? It's about communication. It's what we do. It's how we do it. We communicate. We express ourselves. I know it sounds kind of funny, but you'd be surprised how often we struggle with the idea of expressing our authentic selves. I think authenticity for myself has been it's been a part of my journey. It's not just the concept of authenticity, but the ownership of identity. I think that's a better way of saying it. Because everybody talks about being real, what's real. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, authenticity and owning your own identity, man, it's actually a fight. It's a real fight, I think. I think it's just the nature of being alive, but it's a fight. You really got to fight to be yourself, to be what you want to be. You know what I mean? And not what the world wants you to be. And it's so subtle, it gets normalized. It's just the way life is. But I guess for some reason my life has been this like interesting experiment, not experiment but it's like I've been constantly hyper focused on that one thing. So I made a big deal about it my whole life. And I think it's just because of some sort of trauma or like experience where you feel like you don't have identity, you don't know who the fuck you are, and you're being told who you are. And it I don't know, it's like I just could never live my whole life like that. Like I remember too when I knew something wasn't right, because I just felt like I could never be myself, but I was always playing a version of myself that I had to be. You know what I mean? Like society, casts, its members, and everyone has to play a role that they give you. Oh, you would be great for that, so this is the role to fit that, And I feel like as a man, that's incredibly, it's fucking incredibly, it's like, for me, it's like in a cage, bro. It's in a cage, It's like, and it's not physical, it's mental. Like it enslaves your ideas. Like it's difficult to express your ideas now. You know what I mean? Like if it's not fitting the narrative or fitting what the group is thinking, your ideas, your own beliefs. You won't even have your own beliefs. Well, it's like crazy, It's like, and you know what? It's not a big concern for everybody. So I'm not speaking for everybody that not everybody cares about that type of stuff. And some people have that down and they don't have to worry about it. But I guess I'm speaking to the people. No, I know. I'm speaking to the people who knows how it feels to it's like you're playing a version of yourself that's not actually you, but it's a version of you that makes everyone around you comfortable and allows you to have a basic life that feels good. And some people can do that and they're okay with it. But it's like I could never live with myself. I remember when I was talking to a therapist like 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't know that identity issues was my problem, and not knowing myself. But I knew I had something that I just wasn't aware of. But I told the therapist, I was like, if I have to, I can't. I felt like I was like telling them how I felt. I wanted to delete myself because I was like, I can't live my whole life not being like not owning myself. And now when I look back on it, when I really read about it and think about it, I think it's like, I think the word that like sovereignty and agency. I like the word agency. To exercise will, to be at the cause rather than the effect. It's just like, it's interesting, And you know what? I guess I'm trying not to say I guess, because I'm going to speak with more certainty, because I know the reason why I recognize this is because I looked at my life and I saw all of my goals and my visions and everything I wanted to do, and I realized that the version that I was playing of myself, that felt like I was forced to play, that version of me would never be able to go where I wanted to go in life. You know what I'm saying? That version of me. Because that version of me was almost in reaction to society. You know what I'm saying? It was in reaction. You know? It's like, hello. Yeah, he's vibing the whip. He's having a good time. And sometimes you can have a party by yourself in the car. Just that's always the best. Yeah. Sometimes my favorite thing to do is just go down the freeway and just play music. I love like road trips, and you know what I mean, and like get an album, and you know, just listen to a whole album, multiple albums, like from top to bottom. I love that shit. Shit's so fun. But yeah, what are we talking about? Identity. Yeah, you know, it's not a big deal. Identity, schmidity, just figure it out. Just kidding. That's another way to look at all this shit. You know what I mean? You can make a big deal out of it, which I do, which I have. Or you can be like, yeah, you don't figure, you know what I mean? It's like, it all matters to whatever the fuck you want to do, you know? But to people who do struggle with that, and it really is fucking with their lives, really is fucking with them, I totally understand. I totally understand, because I know how that shit feels. You know what I mean? And I guess, I know what I needed to do was recreate myself. Because I told myself, I was like, I can't be this version of myself. I can't live like this, no more. So I went on this path of recreation, you know? And then it got to a point where I was like, all right, I want to recreate myself. And to recreate myself, a lot of times I recognize that it had nothing to do with adding anything to who I was. It had nothing to do with adding anything. And in a lot of ways, it was removing. It's not that I wasn't being myself, it's that I was added a bunch of extra, we're added extra parts and components that hinder us from being our true selves. So it wasn't that I didn't like myself, I just wasn't being my true self and not even realizing I wasn't being my true self. And I think that's the crime. It's like, you know, it's like the whole Matrix stuff. Like you're born, you're given a name, you're given a race, you're given a heritage, a culture, an identity, stereotypes that are attached to that were already pre-created before you were, you know what I mean? Even born, like, and just put into a system. It's wild, you know? And so we can go our whole lives not being the version of yourself that is like truly at its core, like base levels, like reality, like you. It's like people don't even realize like they're born playing a character. They're given a role already. Boom. You didn't choose the role. You know what I mean? How you want to try out for a movie, you're like, I think I would be great for that role. I want to go for that role, you know? It's like you're automatically given a role as a role in life, in society. And so, for me, I recognize it wasn't right. So, how do we do that? How do we recreate ourselves? It's about getting to know ourselves more, you know, getting to know ourselves. And I think for me to get to know myself, one thing I know I've been doing to get to know myself was really asking myself, like, really asking myself, God, why did you make me? What is this all about? Asking myself the questions. And the questions led me to answers, you know? Identity schmidity. Just kidding. That's the one way to look at it. I'm just joking, guys. I'm serious. I like to joke. I like to play games. Nah, I don't like to play games. You know what? I do like playing games. I like video games. I like sports. Those are all games. I like gamifying things. I understand that relationships are like games sometimes, but I don't like games for tit for tat where it's not getting us anywhere. I understand, you know, I feel like that's one thing. When you're playing games is when you're wasting people's time. I think that's no cool. It's no bueno. You gotta be a sharp shooter, man. Straight shooter. Just be direct. Think it, say it, and just fucking own it. You know what I mean? Like throwing a fucking dart at the bullseye. You feel me? I know you feel me. So we're out here in the Rose City. Walking this beautiful, beautiful summer day. Well, what is it, summer? Tail end of the summer. I mean, it still feels like it. I guess this is technically fall, but nah, this is summer. We're still summertime. Oregon, anytime, like this is summer. Anytime the sun is out and there's no rain, it's summer. I don't give a fuck what season it is. And it's like, what, damn near 80 degrees? Yep. All right. So, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm gonna go over here and sit down. We're gonna one second. I need like a little patch. I like set the phone on my chest, like right here, so you guys can just see. First person. Attach the phone to my top of my bandana. Put it on here, so you guys can see through my eyes. All right. Say. You know, some of my favorite movies deal with identity, and it's interesting because I never knew why I gravitated to these films as a kid growing up. But it's like the more I started to get into the idea of like owning yourself or getting to know yourself, getting to know who you really are, and then owning yourself and being authentic in that role that you chose for yourself. It's interesting. I would always go back to The Matrix and Fight Club, and I would actually watch those movies and study it like a documentary. Man, I've watched Fight Club like 200 times. But and a lot of times it's like pivotal scenes, you know what I mean? It'll be pivotal scenes. It'll be just like what it was all about, what the writer was saying, because I felt like there's so many parallels. And a lot of people say this is kind of like, it's not a cliche, but it's a common theme to talk about Fight Club, The Matrix. But excuse me. Those movies are incredibly applicable, man. There's so much wealth that you can gain from it, you know, that on like transformation, like psychological transformation. You know what I mean? Psychological transformation. Because you know what? The truth is, the crazy thing is like we're only alive for an extended period of time in this realm, right? Well, we'll be alive forever. We're alive forever. You know what I'm saying? We never die. But this life, this simulation that we're in it for like what, 80 to 100 years, you know? And every day, you know, it's another day off that kind of clock that's ticking for everyone, kind of in a weird way. And knowing that should be a good like motivator to be like, dude, are you okay with like, are you okay with not like living authentically to your path, your purpose, you know? And I think for me, that's what was like a big motivator for me. It made me feel like, oh, come on, bro. you only got windows of time. You know what I'm saying? Because there are aspects where people get to a certain age where transformation for them is almost like, it's ridiculous. Like almost like it's like they say it's easier to build a strong man than repair a broken man. You know, or you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Things like that, you know, where if you have a fixed mindset for too long, it's kind of, I don't know, I want to say impossible, but the odds are very slim that a person's their mind isn't like, the muscle of their mind isn't designed to like stretch itself to be stronger and bigger and like challenge itself. It's like frozen in time, and I feel like that's what stunts our potential and our growth as people. And I feel like incredibly. I don't know. I noticed that at a young age, growing up. Like I would go to like certain family members' houses and everything, and it's different. It's a different time when people lived like this, But I just noticed that they lived in the same house for like 30, 40 years, 50 years, like in the same town, and like it was like they were always doing the same thing, and it was always this like, and I felt like I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like they're all, every time I see them, it's like the same. Every few years, I keep seeing the same person. I don't see like growth, And sometimes if we're not sometimes, it's like if you're not growing, what are you doing? Knowledge, what I've learned for myself, even in so many areas of my life that I'm working on that I feel like I abandoned or didn't value enough, is that, knowledge, if we're not if we're not adding new knowledge into our mind, and we're not getting it more intelligent, more wiser, the mind doesn't stagnate. It doesn't just stay there at that IQ. Like you slowly start to lose value. Like it's called a devolution. Devolution. You know what I mean? It's kind of a play on words, devolution. That'd be a cool shirt. But yeah. Excuse me, I'm like trying to, I gotta stay, vigilant of my surroundings. Come on, I can see behind me. You know what I mean? But yeah. So it's like if we're not growing, if we're not working on ourselves to grow, to challenge ourselves, and or just having the intention on a consistent basis, we're not gonna grow as people, man. And if we don't grow as people, as a society, as a community, as our communities like stagnates, and it's just not good for society, And I'm like, damn, only thing I can do is work on myself, man. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look in the mirror and make a change. We gotta make the world a better place. We have to make the world a better place. But you know what? We have to work on ourselves. If you want to work on yourself, first thing you need to do is go look in the mirror. Go stare, go look in the mirror. Set a timer for 1 hour and just stare in the mirror and don't say a word. I've done shit like that. Just sat in the bathroom and just stared at myself and allowed thoughts to just flow through my brain. Because I knew, you can't lie to yourself. You can't. You can, but you can't. But to believe it, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the mind can. After a while, a lie can be told so many times, the brain will believe it. So I mean, But this type of topic right here is like, go look in the mirror. And it's like you can't run away from it. It's the fucking craziest shit, man. It's fucking crazy. But I'll tell you this. It's kind of cool though. It's cool. It definitely, when the more you work on yourself, like when the more you like know yourself, it gives you like this. It's like power is so real. Like feeling powerful. It's like a real, when you watch Dragon Ball Z, like motherfuckers like Super Saiyan up and shit. It's like Super Saiyan is obviously like more powered up than someone who's not on Super Saiyan levels. And like someone who's not on those levels, they don't know what that feels like. They just see it and it's like, they want to know. But like, oh my God, it's a fucking awesome feeling. And I mean, I say that to I say that in the sense of like, it's so like, it sounds like kind of intense to look at yourself in the mirror for an hour and just tell yourself everything that the truth. Tell yourself everything that you think that you're not supposed to ever say aloud. Say everything about yourself that you're keeping a secret from the world. Every bad thought, it could be unlawful, it could be violent, it could be deviant, it could be just terribly, terribly wrong, absolutely wrong. Something you would never want to be seen or heard saying it in public ever. Those deep-seated things, when you really just like own it, it's your brain that has thought that. You know, you start to realize like you didn't really think that, your brain thought that. It's another conversation, but no, the point is that you realize that, you know, you start to just see that, like, oh, you start to see the imperfections. You know, you start to see the imperfections and focusing on them, but not how we're programmed to do. You know, not how we're programmed to, you know, be afraid of them. That's what a lot of people have insecurities. They don't address them. You know what I'm saying? And anytime someone brings it up, they get really emotional. You know what I'm saying? You can tell people are emotional a lot of times. They don't want to talk, and it's understandable. However, like, a lot of us are like extreme about it. It's like, whoa. And it's like, I believe when you look in the mirror and you can like own your insecurities, your insecurities, your terrible thoughts, the things about yourself that you don't want the world to know, the things that are actually on your heart, your character. You know, it's like you're able to pull back the mask, pull off the mask, it's like cutting off your face. Silence of the Lambs shit. And just like removing it and just seeing the picture and being like, whoa. You know, and there's different ways to assess that. You know, I'll tell you this. When I really was doing it, I feel like, you know, if I had like a mentor with me or a coach or someone, they would have been able to like tell me maybe the things that I would experience by doing this that are common or could possibly happen. And it would have made the process of growing myself, to know myself to so much more smoother. But it took me longer because I didn't have that. So like, man, when I would do these sessions where I would stare in the mirror and like just like think these thoughts or write down all my insecurities, everything about me, you know what I mean? Really look at them and really look at who I really was. You know, I think a few times I would feel deep shame. I feel shame, and I really was like embarrassed, and I felt like I just wasn't a good person. I was like, whoa, maybe I'm not as good of a person as I think I am. Maybe I'm not as holier than that. Maybe I'm not as angelic, you know what I mean, or appropriate, or whatever the case. I'm presenting to the world how everyone is, you know what I mean, and all of this judgment that I've casted upon the world, other people, and how society is. You come to find out that everything that that you complain about and criticize about the world exists within you, and you have and you're doing it to others as well. You're thinking thoughts too. You're like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's wild. And that fucking kind of fucked me up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, yeah, the world may be a fucked up place, but me just always focusing on how the world's a fucked up place and never addressing myself is making me actually a contributor to the problem. Oh, wow. Maybe, in fact, I am full of shit. Maybe everything I thought about myself, some of it could have been like valid, but maybe you're actually a hypocrite. Maybe you're not the man you say you are. Maybe you're not who you're presenting yourself to be. You know what I mean? Big Mr. Smiles. Hi, polo, show up on time, ready to go, leader, diligent, you know what I mean? I was like, maybe this whole time I've been a pretender. I was like, okay. Maybe I'm not, I'm kind of, I think you get what I'm saying. I'm trying to keep going on. I like this, it's fun. But, and I started like looking at that and I was like, oh, okay. What I got from that was like a deep sigh of relief. Over time, I started getting a sigh of relief. Because I was like, all right, if I'm feeling like this, then everybody else is too. Then because I was like, oh, then because I was like, if I'm the guy that's showing up on time and looking sharp and looking good and projecting virtue, I'm looking at everyone else. I'm like, oh, a lot of people are doing the same thing. We're all kind of doing the same thing. Look at everyone. Right? We're in the Matrix, right? See all these people. Now, everyone here is acting civilized, right? Correct? Everyone's here is civilized. No one's shooting each other. There's no sexual assault happening in the street. There's no, you know what I mean? It seemed like civilized people. Now, just because everyone is civilized, does that technically, and no one's being mean to each other, does that mean these are good people? You know what I mean? I know this is a thought experiment, okay? So before anyone's like, they are good people. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying that we don't know. Just because somebody looks presentable and has a smile on their face and has, nice pair of leather-bound dress shoes, or a nice vehicle, a nice car, or a pretty face, that doesn't mean that they're a good person. Who are they underneath that? That's the first layer, And so when I started to assess myself and started realizing like, oh, I was looking at myself and I thought this whole time that I was the good guy. You know what I mean? I looked at myself, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not a bad person, but am I necessarily a good person? And to my standards, I didn't feel like I was good enough. Maybe good enough, I don't know. Yeah, to my standards, it wasn't fucking good enough. It's not saying that you don't feel good enough. It's just that I wasn't living to the standards of what I felt was my definition of good, And I wasn't actually being and actually living in accordance to what I was projecting. I was thinking, I was like, I didn't have. It's like God sees the heart. I had like hate on my heart, And so, seeing myself in the world, I felt like, man, I recognized, I was like, man, we're all like this. Because I started realizing, like, it's varying degrees, right? But I was like, yo, everyone's doing it. We're all in this. It's crazy. I know I'm a good guy, I know I am. I know I'm a great guy, but it's not just about being great. It's about being good. Like, what does that mean, But it's like, I think I think they call it natural law, divine law. It's like the human animal just instinctively knows not to do things. There's things that it just knows, and we all know because we're all human beings. We're all connected to the same species, So it's like we all know, It's just like, it's funny, It's interesting. This is fun. I'll tell you this, being around a group of people and live streaming, being on camera, it's fun, but then it'd be like, it's a challenge of frame control people have a bunch of commotion around you and then stay focused on a topic. So thank you very much for everyone. I know I make it look easy. But it's a practice, man. It's a real practice. But yeah. So like, what was I gonna say? Oh shit, I'm back. How's everybody doing? You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, New York City! Yo, what's up? How's it going? This may sound a little, I wouldn't say this like, I would. But right now, just for the sake of the vibe, I'm gonna not be so I'm not gonna be so overt. But I would say like, believe in justice, right, and peace, and I think it's a great thing to make awareness over injustices all over the world. You know, just the terrible things that are happening, right? War, genocide, it's terrible. But like, I almost feel like sometimes I feel like the idea of like protesting about Palestine in America, I'm not saying it's a good thing to do that, but I feel like something about it is like, it's like easy. It's like armchair, like sports or video games. It's like you don't have to actually, and it's like it's easy because it's all on the other side of the country, all on the other side of the world. So we don't actually have to do anything. But I guess we are doing something. If you're saying something, right? You know, God. If you're preaching Jesus and your religion, and you're just affecting a couple people, and you know, you may not be changing the whole world, but you're doing a part. So, so this is not a knock on people who are this is not a knock on protesting Palestine. I'm just making my argument on it is that I think it would be more effective if we were protesting the problems that are happening in our neighborhoods. Like, this is great, you know what I mean? But a lot of the change that could happen in Palestine it's out of our control. Like, we can fight, we can yell, but like, we're not there, you know? We're not high level political people. They don't care, you know what I'm saying? None of this will change unless we start fucking rioting in the streets, blowing shit up, burning shit, running to the fucking Capitol. Then they'll be like, all right, we need to fucking change some shit. But they're not gonna listen, you know what I mean? Because they're playing a different game. But it's like, I feel like, wouldn't it be more effective if all these signs said fentanyl crisis, homeless problem in Portland, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, homeless lives matter. Solve the fentanyl crisis in downtown Portland, in the Pearl District, in the fucking Burnside. Like, let's talk about what's happening in the city. But like, protesting Palestine right here, whoever's the mayor, the governor, this is not a problem for them, because this is not gonna, you know, make them have to do anything, right? It's out of their control too. But if we started protesting the problems that are happening right now, that'd be pressure for them, for real. And that's not what we need to do. It's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know everything. I don't fucking know everything. I'm just like, this is candid. So I could watch this video tomorrow and be like, you know what, maybe I don't agree with that statement. Maybe I could, you know, I'm still learning. But that's kind of what I'm seeing, you know. But I think too, like what I was saying about like identity and shadow work, I recognized, I was like, oh, like, you know, when we don't really know ourselves, or we're kind of like repressing our shadow, it's like we're more prone to virtue signaling. You know what I mean? We're more prone to like pretending to be good people. You know what I mean? By like doing things that are like, say, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. This is where the world is at right now. That's because we need a mass shadow work. But I often I ask myself, maybe the world people aren't psychologically strong enough on a mass scale in this time period in life to really see themselves and so you almost got to put the medicine in the applesauce. You kind of got to give it to them, like, you know, feed like a baby, spoon feed them, you know. And that's why I feel like entertainment is great. You know, doing it in a form of, as an artist, that's what I would like to do, is make art that is entertaining and theatrical and fun, and things that everyday people enjoy and love. But for some reason, when they watch it, it's like it's doing some shadow work magic being happened somehow in the paintings and the videos. honestly, I feel like it's not even to hurt. It's not even to make people, and it's not even to be like tell people they're hypocrites and they're wrong. I genuinely believe it would be a net positive for society. You know what I'm saying? I believe it would be a net positive for society. Because I feel like not knowing ourselves is like a big cause of our grief. People feel like grief. I mean, think about it. If you didn't know yourself, like if you're an animal and your job is to you're like a squirrel, right? And you're like born. Imagine a squirrel. This is gonna be ridiculous. We're gonna see where this goes. Imagine you're a fucking squirrel, right? You're born, fucking squirrel. Squirrel family. And then like, for some reason, like, the fucking scientists, they take you and like put you in like a fucking pond thing, and like you gotta swim all day and shit, and like you have like a little nest that you can live in, but you just have to swim. Like, I'm pretty sure that squirrel would find a way to survive, but like it probably would. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? It's not, I'm supposed to climb trees, right? And so I feel like a lot of humans are like that. Like they're like taken and like they're not who they're playing the wrong role. You know what I mean? Like it's like in the Divine Comedy, the whole theater of this whole simulation. So I think a lot of us are playing roles that were assigned to us that we didn't want to play for. We didn't want to play that role. You may not have wanted to play that role when you were given it, you know? It's kind of interesting because, speaking of, so this kid just says mom, right? I was just about to talk about my mom, and this kid yells for his mom. So I was just about to say, you know, my mom, my biological mom, you know, I didn't know my mom for 20 years, you know, I didn't see her. Like, I had my stepmom. She replaced she was my mom. She played the role of my mom, right? But my mother wasn't my mom, if that makes sense. And the more I got to kind of assess her understanding, I started realizing that I feel like in her heart she was afraid to play the role of a mom, or she felt she didn't deserve that, or she wasn't worthy of that, or she maybe just didn't want to do that, you know? And she made that choice. She made a pretty intense sacrifice. Like, never see my son again, or maybe not for a long time. You know, and I've had to take time to process that, but I've almost had to put myself in the shoes of my mom and think, if I was her, okay, how was she feeling? Why did she make this decision? And then it's like, you're like, oh, this was a person who was deeply dealing with trauma and pain and hurt, and, you know, and dealing with her own issues and not knowing herself and not knowing her identity and what her role was, you know. Or maybe she did want to play that role, but maybe she was influenced by her environment or the world around her, telling her that, no, you don't have to do that, you should do this. You'll be happier with us, you'll have more fun. And it's like, you know, these are things that are happening every day, you know. But when you're a kid, it's such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's such a crazy big deal when you're a kid. It's crazy, you know. But yeah, on a lighter note, the weather's beautiful, the music's good, it's a beautiful day. I want to be able to, so one of my practices, I want to be able to go deep, and get your heads out the gutter, okay? I want to be able to go deep, but then also go back. Oh, hello. It's okay. And I want to be able to, with the subjects, talk about deeper subjects, talk about things that are, you know, a little more uncomfortable, but then go back to be able to, you know, lighten the mood up, you know what I mean, or inject humor into a conversation, and do that with intention of like keeping the vibe good, you know what I mean, keeping a good vibe, you know, because like, I don't know, I watch a lot of influencers sometimes, and I'm like, damn, they're really saying a lot of truths, but it's almost like they're not really saying a lot of solutions, or it's like, I don't know how to explain it. They're not appealing to what really motivates people, what gets people to take action. You know, because it could be easy to focus on all the negatives, right? But that could be daunting for a lot of people and be disempowering. You know, so it's like, how do you make it fun, man? You know, you gotta make therapy fun, yo. I feel like I feel like a lot of artists did that. You know, I feel like the one artist that came to my mind that made therapy fun in the last like 20 years maybe is Kid Cudi. I feel like Kid Cudi's music when he first started making music, it was like dope. He had like great melodies and good beats, and his flows were fun and cool, and like he was a funny guy, but like something about the songs just made you feel happier, made you feel like good. You know what I mean? And you could sing with a group of people, and I was like, felt like that's cool, you know? Because I don't see myself as just being like a motivational speaker, like, but it'd be cool to like make music that, you know, inspires people, motivates them. You know, almost like affirmation music. You know what I mean? But still with taste and appeal. I wouldn't want to be like I wouldn't want it to be cheesy, you know? Not some cliche, like, nah, it has to be like well done. So, but you know what? This is dope. I love this. Wouldn't it be fire if everyone, I'm telling you this right now, wouldn't it be fire? Yeah, go check out Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi's first album, Man on the Moon. It's a really great one. Great project. Actually, just top to bottom, great project. But you know what? You know what I was just saying? I was looking, here's my hypocritical thing. Dude, I told you, I know I'm not a narcissist, bro. I've been called narcissist so many times because I speak with certainty. Sometimes when you speak with certainty, it can come across as arrogance because it's like sounds confident and with bravado. So people can kind of automatically think you're a narcissist. But I know I'm not a narcissist because I'm like, I have doubts that I'm always questioning myself. I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. And so I just know I'm not a narcissist. I was looking at these people and I was like, yo, this is cool that they're out here promoting or protesting Palestine, right? Well, why aren't they protesting fentanyl? We should be protesting fentanyl. And in my mind, I just realized, I was like, no, they don't have to fucking do anything. I don't need to tell them what to protest. If we need to protest fentanyl, I should be the man on the street with the fucking sign that says fentanyl crisis. I have to start it. Like, I have to be the man in the mirror. Like, you want to make the world a better place, take a look in the mirror, make a change. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's so wild. So now, fuck yeah! Yeah! Never mind, guys. Sorry. Shout out to all the people protesting for Palestine and stop the fucking genocide. I fucking feel that shit. I feel it. I'm fucking with it. I'm with it. I'm not criticizing it. Fucking do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna tell y'all. It's like going to a restaurant and being like, yo, you guys only make cheeseburgers. Where's the seafood? Like, dude, that's not what we do. We're doing this. If you want seafood, go fucking open your own seafood restaurant type shit, you know? So that's what we're gonna do, man. We gotta find a way to do that. Nice. Everyone, you just witnessed a moment of enlightenment. I feel like I had one. I had one. I'm thankful for that. You got to be thankful for those because they don't come all the time. You know what I mean? So that's good. We're growing as people. Because I know whoever's watching, you're probably like, yo, I felt that. I hope you felt that. I know you felt that. Somebody had to feel that. Are you coming around here? Yeah. I don't think that guy wanted to be on camera. Hey. I can understand though. You never know, man. So. I do believe though that there will be a time in the near future that the protests in America, it will be people with American flags, and it'll be people like fighting like, yo, we need to fix America. Like, I think it's the only reason why we're it's like the water isn't hot enough for our society. The citizens in our society, we're still comfortable enough where people are not taking to the streets to say we need to change our country, our country. You know, we're only angry enough to leave comments right now. We'll leave comments. We'll make YouTube videos. We'll do what we're doing right now. You know, but like to actually hit the streets and be like, change this right now. We have to change this. Like, and the unfortunate thing is like it seems like in times of crisis that's when it really snaps. Like a George Floyd incident like that for that specific problem is like that. You know, it's like it shouldn't have to be like that. You know. But humans, we're stubborn and we're like children, man. Children we're gonna keep doing wrong. We're not gonna change anything. So like, it's like I'm not gonna study for the test until it's night before, and you're like, oh shit, pressure. These sounds like samples. We should sample this Middle East like Palestinian music. Put some beats behind it. Yeah. You know what's interesting? I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be a great idea if we were protesting like the problems that were happening in our? I'm gonna say this again because like you probably heard me, but I believe it'll be a great idea. No, not I believe. I know it will be a fantastic idea if we were protesting the problems that are happening in our city. I think the number one problem right now in the city of Portland that is like obvious is the drug issue, the drug addiction, and the homeless situation in the city. I feel like it's right in our faces, and there's not enough. I feel like there's not enough. I feel like more work could be done. You know, I think raising more awareness on it would be important. Raising awareness on the idea of like what people are going through and like what people are experiencing, and just the idea of like what's going. I don't even. Excuse me, guys. I'm like walking and like seeing things, and I gotta stay focused. So, what I think I would like to do, I want to make a shirt that says something it's got to be something that, you know, that's really kind of like talking about this, you know. Because to go off the idea of, oh, what am I? This is the jewel, Flume. Some peach icy peach. Icy peach is kind of cool. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna find somewhere to post up. I shall return. Until next time. Thank you everyone who tuned. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, bro. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Peace out, y'all. I'll be back.